From down under to Dade County, meet the koalas of Metrozoo. Since its opening in March of 1988, Metrozoo's koala exhibit has become a favorite among zoo visitors. This totally self-enclosed and climate-controlled environment took several years of planning. Preliminary research involved consulting with other institutions which display koalas. Metrozoo's general curator, Bill Ziegler, discusses the logistics of creating the exhibit.
The humidity down here in our summer months will stay as high as 90-95% for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. And that's very hard on the animals. So we had to be able to provide them with a climatically controlled inside display during the summer months. And then the barn itself, what we call a barn, which in other terms would be their night house or their quarters, we wanted to design that by eliminating the mistakes that had been made at other zoos. That's a good way of designing a zoo. Go to that institution that has the animal or does what it is you're interested in, pick their brain, try and find out what they feel should be changed about their facility and what's good about it, and then go from there and combine that from 2 or 3 different zoos and finally build your facility. And this is what we did. We looked at a number of things. One, of course, was climate control, space for the animals, and we looked at long-term maintenance. We tried to apply new materials to our barn that had not previously been used that would last for a number of years without having to go back into a facility and do the normal maintenance and repair that you would find in any building, whether it's a zoo or not.
Contrary to what their name implies, these cute little animals are not bears at all. Instead, they belong to a group of mammals called marsupials. Now, the word marsupial comes from the Latin word for the pouch. That's where most female marsupials carry their young. Marsupials are found in North and South America, Southeast Asia, New Guinea, and in Australia. Australia has the greatest variety. Other animals included in this group are kangaroos, wallabies, and opossums. The koala, known to scientists as Phascolarctos cinereus, lives only in a eucalyptus forest on the eastern coast of Australia. Although there is only one species of koala, scientists have grouped the animals into 3 subspecies according to their physical characteristics and distribution. The Queensland koala is the northernmost subspecies, living closest to the equator. It is the smallest koala, weighing from 13 to 20 pounds. Its fur is short and light gray in color. The Victorian koala is much larger, reaching 2 feet in length and weighing up to 30 pounds. Its fur is darker and longer, sometimes appearing reddish in color. The 3rd subspecies, the New South Wales koala, is intermediate in size, color, and location to the other 2. Koalas now enjoy protected status in Australia. However, this was not always so. In the early 1900s, they were hunted both for sport and for their fur. Industrialization, deforestation, and brush fires took their toll. As a result, koalas were virtually eliminated from New South Wales and Victoria. In 1927, an open season was declared on koalas, destroying 500,000 animals. Soon after, a campaign to outlaw hunting began. The United States banned the import of skins, and Australia passed legislation to protect the koala. However, threats to the animal's existence still remain. The increase of farming has endangered the koala's environment and dramatically reduced its population. Koalas are extremely well adapted for their tree-dwelling lifestyle. Their legs are heavily muscled for climbing. 2 of the digits on their forepaws are opposed to the other 3. Each digit is equipped with a sharp claw for grasping. On the rear legs, only 4 of the digits have claws. The 5th digit is a fleshy pad used in climbing. Although koalas spend most of their time in the trees, they can run quickly over the ground and even swim if necessary. Koalas usually descend to the ground to change trees, but may also leap from branch to branch. The diet of the koala is very specific. The animals eat only the leaves and tender shoots of the eucalyptus, or gum tree. There are several hundred species of eucalyptus, but koalas prefer to browse from only a few of them. The leaves contain chemical compounds which are toxic to most animals, but the koala's liver is able to detoxify these compounds, making the eucalyptus an abundant food source. As a plant eater, or herbivore, the koala has a specialized digestive tract to break down the vegetation. Koalas live most of their lives alone. They come together for breeding when the female is receptive to the male. Vocalizations by the male indicate his readiness to mate. A gestation or pregnancy period of approximately 35 days follows a successful breeding. The baby koala is born in an undeveloped embryonic state. Using its forelimbs, it makes its way to its mother's pouch. It will then attach to a nipple and complete its development. The baby will remain in the pouch for about 4 months before opening its eyes. At 6 months, the young will begin to leave the pouch. By 7 months, the youngster will leave the pouch frequently to ride on its mother's stomach, and by 12 months, it will virtually be independent. The animals are fully grown at 2 to 3 years and have a life expectancy of 10 to 20 years. Outside of Australia, koalas are found in only a handful of zoos. Metrozoo is the second American zoo to exhibit koalas on a long-term basis. Our animals were captive born at the San Diego Zoo and Wild Animal Park. They are here on a permanent breeding loan. It is hoped that through research and a carefully planned breeding program, Metrozoo will contribute to our knowledge and understanding of koalas while increasing the captive population. Before construction began on Metrozoo's koala exhibit, a eucalyptus grove was planted on a 5-acre irrigated site in the southeast corner of the zoo. Although there are several hundred species of eucalyptus, koala prefer to browse on a specific few. Seedlings were planted in 1985, and after 3 years of growth, the eucalyptus was ready to be cut as browse. While the trees were maturing, construction of the exhibit began in the east area of Metrozoo. This area will eventually house Australian and North and South American fauna. Matrix Construction Company began clearing the site and pouring the foundation in the spring of 1986. As the building began to take shape, architect Dennis Arden, Metrozoo's animal science staff, and construction personnel worked together. Their goal? To design a structure in which the health, safety, and comfort of the koalas was paramount. The practicality of the exhibit from the zookeeper's standpoint was an important consideration. And last but not least, the aesthetics from the public's point of view as well, and the educational impact were also priorities. The building's interior was divided into several functional areas. The south end of the exhibit was designed as the zookeeper's office, where detailed records are kept on all of the animals. Along the east side of the building, there are 3 large individual stalls, with 2 larger breeding stalls for animal inductions along the west side. The 2 indoor exhibits are located on the north end of the building. Each is completely climate controlled. A tunnel leads to the outdoor exhibit where the koalas will be displayed when the temperature is between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. The yard contains a large artificial tree designed by the Larson Company, experts in exhibit construction and design. The tree was crafted from fiberglass. It has a special texturized surface for good traction and grip. Both the large tree and the smaller branches used in the exhibits and holding areas are equipped with plastic containers to hold fresh eucalyptus cuttings. As the building neared completion, murals of the eucalyptus forest were painted on the exhibit back walls by artists from the Larson Company. The first residents of the new exhibit are 3 Queensland Koalas that were born and raised at the San Diego Zoo and Wild Animal Park. The San Diego Zoo holds the largest collection of koalas in the United States. They also have developed a very successful breeding program. Their koala barns are open air, requiring no climate control since the Southern California weather is very similar to that of Queensland, Australia. A 10-year-old male named Kubar, a 4-year-old female named Sydney, and a 3-year-old female named Muesli were chosen to begin the new captive colony at Metrozoo. On arriving at the Miami International Airport, they were rushed to their new home at Metrozoo to begin the process of acclimation. Food consumption, weight, and behavior were carefully monitored for the first few weeks. When the curators were satisfied that the animals were accustomed to their new surroundings, they were ready to be placed on exhibit. March 18th was scheduled as the official opening of the koala exhibit. Press, government officials, and VIPs turned out for the dedication ceremonies and to welcome the zoo's newest residents. In the months that followed, koalas and keepers settled into their daily routines. Behavioral observations remain very important, so the koala keeper begins her day by checking the night report, which records activities observed by the night keeper. Next, she makes notes on the activities and food consumption. An important part of monitoring the health of the animal is a regular weighing. Each animal is carefully removed from the tree in its enclosure and perched temporarily on a branch suspended from a scale. Weight loss may be a sign of stress. The koalas who have maintained their weight are allowed to go to their own public exhibit area. After the animals are in place, the keeper returns to clean the enclosures and check the supply of browse in the walk-in refrigerator. Next is a trip to the Eucalyptus Grove. There the keeper performs a quick check of the various species and trims a fresh supply for the evening's feeding. At the end of the afternoon, the animals are collected from their exhibits and placed back in their clean enclosures, where dinner awaits. The koalas tend to be more active during the evening hours. However, they do spend a total of about 20 hours sleeping in a 24-hour period. Koala keeper Connie Phillip talks about the animals.
There is a big difference between the three of them. The male, Kubor, tends to be pretty laid back. You know, he's the older guy. He's been around longer. He knows. You know, he teaches us. And then Sydney, the youngest one, can be feisty, but she's dealing with that. So that's about her attitude on it. And Muesli, she's a real sweetheart. She really is. Sydney, all day long, she sleeps a lot, but she's the one who'll wake up for minutes at a time all during the day. Muesli will sleep all day long until about 4 o'clock, and she'll wake up because she knows it's time to go in again. But sometimes Muesli will turn her back to everybody, but that's just her way. You know, she'll sleep, that's comfortable for her. And Sydney usually gets the weird positions, an arm out here or a leg down there.
Connie will have additional responsibilities as the zoo continues to grow. 2 new exhibits next to the koalas are already nearing completion. The koala keepers will soon also be caring for red kangaroos, wallabies, and tree kangaroos. The opening of the koala exhibit would not have been possible without the help of zoo benefactors Dr. Herbert and Nicole Wertheim. The Zoological Society raised the balance from its members, corporate sponsors, and private donors. The growth of the zoo through exhibits like these is another example of the commitment to conservation, research, and education on the part of Metrozoo and the Zoological Society of Florida. You can be a part of this exciting growth through your support of the Zoological Society of Florida. Just stop by the Society offices at the zoo entrance and become a member. That's it for now from the Koalas of Metrozoo. We hope you have a nice zoo day.